All right. We are back. Welcome to the Red Hot Mic. We're back. My co-host, Mr. Hetty Lamar, holds my hat. Because you know, I like my hats. Come on. This is how we do it on the Red Hot Mic. Come on in this house. Yeah. This is what we do. It's the Red Hot Mic. I am your host, G. Alpha Palmer, and here's a toast to you the most and everything that you desire. All right. We are back. Today's program, we're going to pick up from our last program where we're talking about modern day relationships between fathers and sons. Today's going to be a short broadcast because we've gone over most of this. And being that we've gone over most of it, I don't want to go all over it again, but we're going to come up with some remedies to how we can fix this problem between fathers and sons. What is it that we should do to heal the relationship so that we can move forward? And that's dependent on everyone that's wanting to do that. Not every son, not every father wants to do that. But if you're willing and wanting that, we want to talk about that. All right. It's the Red Hot Mic. Please subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell. If you would do that for me, I would very much appreciate it, because we can't do this and get this word out to people unless you help me do that. If you help me do that, I greatly appreciate it. So help us out. What else can I say? Where we're going to pick up? We're going to just go over the last piece that I talked about before I ended the last broadcast. But before we can go on, we have to do like we normally do. We start out and we do this. Our dedication to Mr. Kevin Samuels, where we look at our candle of the evening. Charcoal is our candle of the evening, a cleansing scent. I like it because what it does is it cleans the air. It cleans the air around me. Let me just give you a little bit more about it. It is sandalwood and cedarwood combined with the notes of smoky amber and oud to build a Brody full-body fragrance. Our extraordinary scent burns clean, enhancing any room with beautiful, simple design. And the candle are made of high-quality soy wax, and it burns from 60 to 70 hours. That's our candle of the evening. Now, with every candle of the evening, we also have a fragrance of the evening. And today's fragrance is one of my favorite. It is Tom Ford Noir Extreme. I wear this. I would encourage men to get this. It is an extraordinary scent. And I would encourage you to get it. It is one that I think that has it is a very sexy scent. It is. It's just, I can't lie. It is very, you don't want to wear this to work. You might cause some trouble. So you don't want to wear this to work. This is a fragrance that you wear out. And it is very, very sensual. That's all I can say. It's just something that you definitely, as a guy, want to add to your collection of scents. I don't know if that's something that you do, but I would encourage you to, if you're a guy, to get this particular scent and add it to your collection as soon as possible. All right. All right. We're here once again. We're here once again, and we come to this part of our show where we always we consult with the answer wheel, don't we? And in doing this, what we do, we give ourselves an opportunity to allow the universe to get involved in our particular situations. So the reason I do this is because I think it's something that is unique. I think it adds a bit of, to some people it may be ridiculous, but to me it adds a tinge, a bit of spirituality to allow us to maybe answer a question, a query, a problem, a situation that we've been confronted with. And what we do is we give the universe an opportunity to speak through the answer wheel. Now, I know to somebody it may sound a little far-fetched, but I'm of the opinion that the universe uses a myriad of different ways to answer questions. So why not this? And anytime we limit the universe, what we do is the very thing that we limit the universe from doing and using is the very thing that it will. So open yourself up to the possibility, to the probability that this could be a way to answer your question. So when we do the answer wheel, what I try to do is I try to give it a whirl, and then it'll give us an answer. Have 6 answers there. No way, definitely, maybe, yes, ask a friend, and try again. And so once the wheel stops, it will be drawn to one of the answers. And I'm sitting here. I'm not doing anything, and we let the answer wheel answer that query, that problem, that situation that you've been confronted with. And tonight we're getting the answer, and the answer is maybe. The answer wheel has 6 answers. Again, maybe, definitely, no way, try again, ask a friend, and yes. And tonight's answer is maybe. 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 Maybe not. And when this is what I tell people when concerning the answer wheel, when you get a maybe answer, I'm of the mindset that maybe gives us a liberty and a freedom to go with that inclination that we may be having. I really think that that's what it is. So maybe you ought to do that, or maybe not. What is it? What is your inside telling you? What is that particular thing that you feel? What is that saying? That's what you need to do. Maybe that's what you need to do. I think maybe gives you the ability and the freedom to choose without any condemnation, without any fret, without any worry. But you go with that's inside of you that says, this is what I ought to do. This is what I ought to do. And if that's what you're sensing that you ought to do, the universe is in agreement with lining up with you and say, go ahead and do that. Okay? All right. let's move on to our next part of the program. I really do like this music. I find myself relaxing in it. I find myself, I got the candles, I got the cologne, I have my pomegranate juice, not wine, pomegranate juice. Good antioxidant for you to drink. You should probably get a glass of this every day. It's good for you. Good for you. Anyway, I'm going to come back in a few minutes, and with it, I'm going to start our monologue for the evening, and we're gonna finish up the first part of our that we started on our last program, where we talk about modern day relationships between fathers and sons. If you haven't looked at or viewed our last one, you want to do that because it goes through some very, very important information. And I would encourage you to check it out. But come on back and after the commercial, and then we'll go from there. We'll be right back.
In our current global climate, we're facing challenges never before experienced by this generation. Oppositions where no one seems to have clear directions or answers to the risks facing us. Confrontations like racial and gender unrest, political gerrymandering, toxic leadership, economic crisis, global pandemic, health threats, pre-existing medical conditions, isolation, boredom, and loneliness are driving people to desperation. As a result, people are confused, afraid, anxious, and perplexed, and they need answers to some tough questions and even tougher situations. They are looking into different outlets for answers to gain assurance and consolation. Some have drawn closer to the embrace of family, while others look more towards their friendships, education, and even religion. What we need is a fresh voice of truth and clarity, and not a stale religious echo from the past. There's a re-emerging voice on the horizon that isn't afraid to stand alone and give spiritual and mentally sound direction to a world searching for answers. G. Alfred Palmer offers a voice of sound human development and empowerment to those willing to hear. There's a need for new ideas to old principles, a perspective from a timeless origin, but with current vision, a thought leader who understands what it means to stand alone and speak truth when some are hard of hearing. But if you've been waiting to hear a voice that opens the gates of freedom and breaks the shackles of confusion to allow you to step forward into the dawning of a new and exciting future, then it's time to bridge the gap with Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. He is a dynamic speaker, thought leader, and entrepreneur, equipped to elevate, expand, and extend the development, empowerment, and leadership of his audiences. He stands ready to speak at your next event. His delivery is guaranteed to refresh, entertain, and transform. G. Alfred Palmer bridges the gap from uncertainty to the purpose, to passion, and leadership. Book him today for your next event, and you won't be disappointed.
All right, we're back. We're back. We're back, and I'm glad we're back. Okay. All right. You know, we talked a lot about um, the whole idea of modern day relationships between a father and his son, and we see that I'm a firm believer that the reason that there is problems is because the father has not been in the home. Now there's a lot of reasons that may have happened, but the bottom line is, fathers, we are responsible for our sons. We are responsible to our sons, even though we may not have a relationship with our son's mother. It still means that we have a responsibility, And what we talked about was why we are seeing what we're seeing in our community, culture, and clan about regarding the relationships that are happening between the sons and the fathers, and we see that there are a lot of reasons um, that happens, but the biggest reason is developmental. They lack the developmental um, concepts necessary or foundation necessary to matriculate from boyhood to malehood to manhood, and the fathers are responsible for their son. I talked about some of the psychological dynamics through some of the psychological um, uh, suppositions from some noted psychologists like Sandra Bim, and Kohlberg. I use those two examples. They talk about the difference between gender schema and gender identification. Those are two important aspects. Gender schema talks about the importance of how uh, examples are placed before a child that helps them to think and to choose. And then Kohlberg talks about the idea of children or them making the conscious choices that normally go with the gender or the influence that the greater influence that they've received gender wise. So what's happening is our children have lacked the masculinity, and as a result, we're seeing less masculinity in our movies. We're seeing we're seeing movies where the female is the masculine figure, especially with movies that characterize women that are black. We see more and more women that are black being projected as being masculine. And the truth of the matter is that's not possible. Genetically, that's not possible. Okay? It is not possible. It's spiritually unethical, and undesirable. And so what we're seeing is an attempt to erase masculinity, which I've said time and time again is impossible to do. You cannot erase, eradicate masculinity. It's not possible. The universe or God will not allow for that. That will not happen. What will happen is the people who are trying to do that will be eliminated, as opposed to those who are. And the elimination doesn't happen by people. It happens through the 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 operation of the universe. So it doesn't. I'm not threatening people. I'm not saying I'm by no means at all. But what I would say, be careful with what you do and how you do it, because the universe keeps record. Okay. So so we're talking about this problem, this crisis that we're having of between fathers and sons, and the contributing factor to that is the mother who has been hurt, scorned, or as she may seem or believe to be betrayed, um, and as a result has used the son as a tool of recompense or to come against the father. And as a result, and we talked about this as some different results or consequences that come about, um, as a result of those things. So you need to look back at the other video, part one. Again, while I'm thinking about it, please subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell. I need your help to get this message out, to help our boys, males, and men to rightfully take their place. And as we do that, and I'm not promoting chauvinism or misogyny. I'm not. I'm totally against both concepts. But I am for masculinity. I am totally for masculinity. But masculinity has nothing to do with misogyny, nor does it has anything to do with chauvinism. Those are those are concepts that males come into because of a lack of mental development to matriculate from malehood to manhood. So those things. So many times, and this is what happens, ladies. Many times you have chosen to be in a relationship, or he chose you. However you want to go about how, and maybe that's been the problem. You chose him, and it's not supposed to be that way. He's supposed to choose you. And then so guys, you sometimes choose the wrong woman, and you shouldn't even be. I should say it this way: you choose the wrong female. You're not supposed to be choosing females at all. You're supposed to be choosing women. Women have the understanding. Women have the knowledge. Women have the mentality that's proper, and they have the idea and the focus of purpose for their lives. That's the woman you need to be focusing on getting. And does she have an ear to hear, or do you have an ear to hear what she says about what her purpose is? That should be your question, not what do you want to do with your life, or what's your purpose? What do you see as your purpose? What do you see? And there are many women ask you that question, and it's couched in a question like this: what do you see yourself in 5 years? You should be able to answer that and couch it in that all to do with your purpose, all to do with purpose. But what we do is we talk about stuff and things, positions and titles, money, right? And all these things that we're talking about that so many of us look to gain. And what we find is that it puts us in a situation that we've never even thought of. We find ourselves going after things and stuff and not fulfilling purpose. But if you fulfill purpose, all the things and stuff necessary to fulfill purpose and for you to survive will be given. Has to be. Anyway, this is my purpose, to tell you about purpose. And on the Red Hot Mic is, before we can get to purpose, I have to help our men, our boys, and our males get to a place where they need to be. And so we can help our girls, our females, and our women. But we can't help them until we help each other. And the problem is we have so many guys that think that they have the answers. But if we look around their lives, we don't see those things necessarily. Now, hear me. Just because a guy has stuff, accoutrement, does not mean that he's fulfilling purpose. It doesn't. It doesn't. But you have to understand that purpose is about doing that which benefits the community, culture, and clan. It's lawful. It's never against the law. It benefits others and not the individual themselves. So it's important to understand that purpose is the most important thing. But in order to fulfill purpose, we need to know who we are and know more about us as men. And how do we get to be men? How do we go from boys to males to manhood? How does that happen? What does that look like? So we're going to talk about that. Because we were talking about all these things relative to the father-son relationship, and one of the things that I left off at, and and that is, what happens when a man, not a male, but a man, he's a father and he rejects his son. Well, here's what I want you to understand: a father who is a man will never reject his son. It doesn't happen. He will not reject his son, but he will reject offspring that's not his. That's why I tell men, there are plenty of women out there that don't have children. They don't have children. You have to establish your legacy. You don't owe it to, a man is not responsible for fixing negative choices that a female made about her sexual life. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is for your purpose. And your purpose is to find a place where an individual who has the feminine to your masculine purpose. And when you do that, you'll find that and you look for her. And you listen for her more than you look for her, because so many of us are looking for lips, hips, and fingertips, and we don't hear she's an idiot. We don't hear that she's tone deaf. We don't hear that she's totally void of knowing what purpose is or any inclination toward it. She wants stuff, things. She wants cars. She wants homes. She wants vacations. All those things that have nothing to do with purpose. She doesn't want to give, she wants to get. Well, I understand that. That's what feminine is supposed to. But she's her getting is supposed to come through purpose and through helping others fulfill purpose. But only a woman full of purpose will understand that. Okay. So a man is not responsible for cleaning up male's irresponsibility. Hear what I said. A man is not responsible for cleaning up a male's irresponsibility. If he goes out and have a bunch of children, it's not your responsibility as a man to feel like you have to fix his irresponsibility. That doesn't mean and then by that I mean I'm not saying that you don't help young people. You do, but you don't take them on and make them your children. That's not your legacy. That's his legacy. You need your own legacy. You need a son that walks like you, talks like you, right? Looks like you, thinks like you. And you can see you in him when you see him every day. His hands, his nails, his fingernails, his build looks like your build. And he looks like, and you see yourself in him. That's legacy. That's what a man wants. Not to rear another man's children who eventually get to the place and tell you, you're not my father. Because you're not. You're not. You're not. And sure you're going to say, I don't want to be your friend. Your father want to be your friend. You're not. You're not here to make friends. You're here to fulfill purpose and leave a legacy. That's what you're supposed to do, gentlemen. So this problem, this crisis that we're having, fathers, sons, how do we fix it? How do we fix this problem? Well, we've got to teach our boys, and men and males got to come to the understanding and application to matriculate what I'm getting ready to say in their lives so that they can matriculate into manhood. The first thing is that, and I keep saying it, we've got to understand the three elements of masculine development: boy, male, man. We've got to understand those three things. You're born a boy. There's only two binary energies, masculine, feminine. That masculine and feminine energy comes into this realm, and it takes off the E and puts on the ITY. Masculinity, femininity. So masculine and feminine takes off the E, puts on the ITY, and it becomes masculinity and femininity. And then as a result, they are uploaded with the proper gender schema, and that gender schema comes from parents. You're uploading them with the software, but you can only upload software that you know and that is live in your life and real to you. And as a result, many of us have not had a man raise us. We had an uncle. We've had a supposedly uncle, which was mom's boyfriend. But it's so much that we have done wrong, and so it's affecting our children. And so what we've got to understand is a boy. He came here a boy, right? Masculinity, or I should say, masculine put on masculinity, and it manifests as a boy. And that boy's design from head to toe shows forth innately that he is connected to masculine. It has come here in this realm, and it manifests itself through the science of masculinity. We're going to talk about that in next tape, next recording. The science of masculinity. We're going to talk about that identification that makes and marks you in masculinity. Okay, so but there's three masculine development elements: boy, male, man. We've got to understand this. If we can understand this, the importance of boyhood and the importance of your responsibility to that son. If you can understand how important it is for you to transmit, penetrate, initiate, inject, infuse that boy with masculinity, but not this toxic stuff that we see going around, not this 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 maleness, this alpha maleness, or this beta male, or this data. All that is malehood. That's not manhood. We need men who are mature in manhood to teach our sons teach our sons as boys. Let them see what it looks like to be masculine, to embrace masculinity, to embrace it. I love being masculine. I love being a man. Don't you? And I'm not talking about being an alpha male, because that's still a male. He's not a man. He's not a man. He's a male. We need men. And the ladies will say amen to that. Anyway, those three developmental or elements of development in masculine or masculinity: boy, male. Now, let me talk about male real quick. To be a male, it means that the things that you learned as a boy, you're beginning to take those things and to understand how they fit in the broad scheme of your life, and begin now to take and to learn what it means to move from the place where you are, and how to matriculate and how to operate in the function where you are. Now, we're going to talk about how we do that in a minute. I haven't gotten to that piece yet, and so we move from boyhood to malehood, and we move from malehood to manhood. Okay. And now the next thing is that after we understand that there are three elements to development of masculinity, we need to come to understand that there's 8 elements to 8 stages is what I really mean. 8 stages to masculinity. Now, I've talked about this time and time again. They're in our archive, and they talk about the 8 stages of masculinity development. See, we talked about the 3 elements. Now, within those 3 elements, there are 8 stages. There's 8 stages within in boyhood, 8 stages within malehood, 8 stages in manhood. Okay, and those 8 stages we talk about, I'm not going to go into them here in depth, but if you will go to some of the other recordings, you'll see more in depth than what I'm going to go here. But you've got to understand that there are 8 stages in each of our 3 elements. There are 8 stages, and those stages are critical in your development. Without developing in those 8 stages, you cannot matriculate to the next level. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. So it's important that those same 8 elements, or the same 8 stages, are in each stage of development, but they carry different meaning and different responsibilities. You need to go back and look at some of the things I talk about relative to that. The next thing is, you need to understand your value. As a man, you need to understand your value. You are a one of a kind. You are a Renoir. You are a Van Gogh. I went to a couple weeks ago here in DC. There's a museum that's dedicated to Vincent van Gogh. And in it, there's his paintings and a lot about his story and about his life and everything, um, and a lot about his philosophy of that and how he lived life. Now he committed suicide, which to me says a lot around um, whether he really found purpose, because purpose extends your life. It doesn't extinguish your life. I'll say that again. Purpose extends your life. It doesn't extinguish your life. Okay, not in that realm, not committing suicide. Okay, I'm a firm believer that purpose even protects your life. But anyway, that's for another channel, another time. So anyway, so these eight, the thing that we've got to understand is that have great value. That's my point. The Van Gogh, the Renoir, you are that. You are that work. You are that work from the universe, from from the great beyond. You are the answer to that problem that only you can fix. You're not an accident. You're very intentional. You have a very intentional mission. You have a very specific assignment, and you're designed perfectly for it. I tell people all the time, you are imperfectly perfect for what you're supposed to do. Imperfect, but yet perfect for what you're supposed to do. Now, it's important for you to understand the focus of manhood. The focus of manhood is twofold: purpose and legacy. Purpose and legacy. Purpose and legacy. Without those two, you will continue to just do anything to survive. You'll never live a life. You'll just be surviving. You're not sent here to live, I mean, to survive. You're sent here to thrive. And the only way that you can thrive is finding purpose. And the only way that you can do that, the only way that you can do that is be around men who understand purpose. Do you understand purpose? Do you, if you understand purpose, then you can show your son the importance of purpose. And that becomes an important part, an integral part of your relationship. Showing him purpose and that you have a meaningful reason for being here in life. And it's not to get girls pregnant. It's not to get high and have sex and to get money and to get house and cars and dogs and why. It's more to it than that. And a father who understands purpose will have and establish that relationship with his son. And the only way that you can do that is you have to be able to focus in and know the importance of manhood. Manhood is not malehood, and malehood is not manhood. It's important for us to realize that. We've got to become aware of responsibility. You are responsible. You're responsible for disseminating that which you have been sent here to disseminate. I know. What is it? What is it that I'm supposed to do? I know there's so much stuff that's been piled on top that you don't know what to do. You need to go over to our other channel, Purposeology. You need to, I should say, Purpose Sphere, where we teach Purposeology. The Purpose Sphere, which is another one of our channels. And we go into more specific things around purpose. That's not what we're here to do. But responsibility is what we're here to do. To tell you that the importance of responsibility for yourself to relinquish or to release purpose, but it's also to have, you are responsible for those children. You're responsible to your wife. You're responsible to what the Creator has placed in you. That's your responsibility. That's your responsibility. I'm releasing now that very thing that I'm supposed to do. Whether people watch it or not, that's not my problem. That's not my concern. My thing is to be obedient to what's inside of me. And that obedience says that this is what I'm supposed to do. It's the red hot mic coming at you. Yes, it is. Okay, so next I want to talk about the 7 steps of fatherhood. Ooh, that's a tough one. The 7 steps of fatherhood. And the reason why that's we have that's in archives. The reason that we talked about that is that the 7 steps of fatherhood opens up to us the responsibility that I just talked about and gives us a clearer understanding of that responsibility. Check out the archives. Check out the archives, 7 steps of fatherhood. It's important to understand this. Women determine who they will have sex with. You'll never you'll never be able to have a woman and have sex with her without her choosing you first. Anything else is a legal violation, right? It's a legal violation. So women have women determine who their sexual partners will be. There's no if and buts about it. It's her body. It's her body. She has every right and every choice along with that, every responsibility. Those are her responsibilities. It's not yours. The choice is hers. But society and this culture has taken away your choice relative to that. But I get it. But that's why you have to be careful who you lay down with, right? But the bottom line is, women determine who their sexual partner is. Men determine who their relationship partner will be. A woman should never get down. You should never accept a proposal where a woman presents you with a ring. That's a masculine concept. That's a masculine idea. She should never carry you across the threshold. That is a masculine concept. How insulting. You should never, ever, I don't care who she is, you never marry a woman that gets down on her knee before you, gentlemen. Never. Excluding none. You never allow a woman wouldn't do it. These are females. A woman wouldn't do it. A woman would require you to propose. A woman would require you to carry her across the threshold because she understands the importance of those principles. A female doesn't. She thinks she's the man because she's been told she's the man. The media is telling her she's masculine. Her mother is telling her, don't worry about marriage, baby. Get your education and get you a good job. And I understand why that came about. Mom was wanting you to protect yourself, but what she doesn't know is purpose protects you. Purpose protects you, baby. Sweetheart, that's what protects you. Finding your purpose. And then finding that man that will be the yin to your yang. When you hear him talk, he talks about purpose. And he talks about the very thing that you've been talking about and you've been thinking about. And you come together. The two of you become one. That's what it should be like. Gentlemen, you determine relationship. And when a relationship doesn't work, it's because you chose the wrong one. You failed to choose the right one because you looked at the lips, fingertips, you looked at the nail, the lips, the hips, and the fingertips, and not listened. You didn't listen to see what's on her mind. You didn't ask the right questions. So oftentimes they're in interrogating you. No, you need to be interrogating her. You need to be interrogating her. You're the prize. Always remember that. You are the prize. And if she doesn't understand that, then she's the wrong one. She's the wrong one. And some people get insulted because I said that the man is the prize. The man is the prize. Women want men. They don't want boys. They don't want males. They don't want beta males. They don't want alpha males. They want men. Men are the prize. That is not an insult to women because what a man does, he does the right thing concerning a woman. And a woman knows that. A man should never accept a marriage proposal. I saw on divorce court where a woman was crying. She bought a engagement ring to the courthouse to try to get him to marry her. He said no. He said that he would marry her, but only on his own time, and he would do the proposal. I would say this to that gentleman: you should not propose to her. Period. There's something wrong with her. There's something wrong with her mentality, and it's not going to go away because you decided to propose to her. She's broken in her mentality. You should never propose to a woman like that. You should never marry a woman like that. Excuse me, that's not a woman, that's a female. And the language, I've been taught so long and trying to change my language. It sometimes I have to work at it too. I get it. A woman is not a female, and a female's not a woman. You got to know that. A male is not a man, and a man is not a male. You've got to know that. What is the dividing factor? Development, human development, maturity. That's the difference. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. Oh, I got one more. Choose the right woman, not a good woman. Choose the right woman, not a good woman. Good is beneficial. There are plenty of good women out there. They really are. They have everything that you're looking for. It'd be beneficial. Beneficial in the ways that you may see as needful for you. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the right one. Because the right one will be a good one. But a good one doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the right one. But if she's right, she'll be good. Good in that she'll have everything that you want. But she'll go beyond that. And that's not and you see, it's the lips, hips, and fingertips so many men are looking at. And that should be secondary to the primary. And the primary is what's on her mind? What's important to her? Things, stuff, vacations? Or is it purpose and legacy? What is it? Anyway, that's it, gentlemen. Thank you for coming into the Masculinity Man Cave once again. Thank you for ruminating, elevating, and activating with me. Again, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, like, and share, and hit the notification bell so that you know when we're going to have more coming out, more downloads. Go back, find out, and look at the 7 steps to fatherhood. Excuse me. Woo. We have to cut that out. Whew. Okay, we have to cut that out. Anyway, I hope that you gain something from this and that you tune into our next broadcast. Peace.